Man, what a way to start the video, eh? That is one breathtaking view. So I'm out here in the high country, Walkabout land, and yeah, the plan is to spend the next 2 nights and 3 days just exploring this area. And if that is any indication of what I'm in for, I think it's going to be a really good weekend. So yeah, especially the weather stays like this as well. It's such beautiful spring weather at the moment. I think it's meant to be pretty sunny for the most of the weekend. So yeah, I think we should be in for a really nice weekend. There's meant to be lots of big rocky formations, nice big grassy meadows, and a few huts to explore as well. So yeah, I really think it should be a good one. So hopefully you guys stick around. I'm loving this granite landscape. I'd love to see this place in snow. It'd be really cool. Once again, you could almost fool yourself to think you're in the Sierra Nevadas in California. It's a really beautiful place. Alright, well I think I've walked as far as I want along this ridge. I might turn around and go back and check out this other area. It's about 3:30 now, so I don't want to leave myself too short. So that gives you enough time to go check out the other area and then try and find a nice place to set up camp. Wow, this place just keeps getting better and better. Now I kind of feel like I'm in New Zealand somewhere. Oh man, what a beautiful spot. Alright, now I'm going to try and work my way up this valley. This place is gorgeous. I'm having such a lovely day walking out here. Such gorgeous country to walk through, like these nice grassy meadows rather than pushing through dense scrub. Beautiful sunny day and gorgeous country, honestly. What more could the heart of a man desire? Oh, what a nice day to be out here. kind of reminds me like a little mini El Capitan out of Yosemite. And the other light is just hitting it perfectly as well. This place is gorgeous. Oh, I'm absolutely loving this right now. Alright, so I've just made my way up on top of this plateau here. I found a really nice spot to set up camp for the night. It's a nice little patch of trees, nice and grassy and flat, which is good. And there's heaps of birds around, which is really cool. Actually, there's also some wild horses I saw before, so that's going to make things interesting. I've never camped amongst wild horses, so hopefully they don't trample me throughout the night. And also you got a pretty cracking view as well, so I think this is going to be a really beautiful spot to set up camp. So we've got about, probably about half an hour or so until the sun sets. So I'm going to get the 10mm bag, get that set up, grab a gin and tonic, and then go watch the sunset. Yeah, so rather than using my tarp this trip, I decided to bring my brand new one-man tent. The brand's called GORGE-ous, or however you pronounce that, and it's an Exigent 1. Like I said in my last video, I haven't really used this properly before. I used the bug net in the last trip in the cave, but I haven't actually set this up properly and slept in it, so pretty keen to see how it goes tonight. So let's go get that set up. Seems like it's a little bit slanted here, so it means I'm going to keep rolling off my mat throughout the night, so I don't really want to do that. So I might actually move this to another spot over there where it's a bit bigger, got more room around me, and I should be able to angle it a bit better. Alright, well I think that's going to do me for tonight. Man, what a campsite. Wow, that was pretty special. To be honest, I wasn't quite sure how to take him because they were starting to get pretty close to me, and I didn't know if I was going to spook them or if they were going to charge at me. I've never really sort of camped around feral animals that big before, so yeah, we're a little bit intimidated, to be honest. But it's a pretty beautiful and special moment. Even though horses are a pretty invasive pest in Australia, it's one of those controversial topics. People love them or hate them, and man, you can't help but love them. It's just the numbers they are in the snowies, they're pretty out of control. So you kind of got to find the balance between keep some around, but probably not too many, because yeah, they definitely can destroy the waterways and yeah, the vegetation. But it's still such a beautiful animal. And it is such a beautiful night. It's so still. It's not a breath of wind. Birds are just chirping all throughout the valley. And that sunset, you couldn't have asked for a better one. Man, this is honestly one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Oh, this is the moments that I live for. Just out in the bush, by myself, just reconnecting to the country. Sounds like some hippie stuff, but man, it does you a world of good. Just get out here by yourself and just immerse yourself in the landscape. It just, it really puts you in your place, and you realise what's important in the world. Oh man, I'm so stoked. And the gin and tonic goes down pretty well out here. Well, it is starting to get mighty cold now. It's meant to get down to about -1 tonight, so pretty damn chilly. So I just tucked on all my warm gear. And I'm not going to have a fire tonight. It's about 8:30, so it's starting to get pretty late. And I'm absolutely exhausted. Been yeah, flat out like a lizard drinking today. I was up at 4:30 to the 6-hour drive and spent the rest of the day hiking, so I'm pretty buggered. So I'm just going to use my Trangia just to cook up some snags and a potato. And that's going to be me for tonight. Going to go into bed and have a very good night's sleep. So yeah, let's wrap it up for now, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. morning guys, and what a beautiful morning to wake up to. That fog throughout the valley was really something special. I knew camping down in the plains here that when I woke up it was probably going to be quite dewy, because that's the whole reason these plains exist, is this sort of basin around here acts like a cold sink, and all the cold air sinks to the bottom of this valley, and quite often it frosts over, and so that inhibits any trees growing. So that's why you have all the trees growing on the hills around here, but you have these big grassy open plains. But it wasn't too bad last night, although everything is soaking wet, so I've just got it drying out at the moment. But yeah, it's just such a beautiful morning. There are so many birds out. It's really beautiful. The sun's coming out as well, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day. Had a really nice night last night. After I cooked up some dinner, I was just sitting around here and had a mob of kangaroos come over, literally about 2 feet away from me. They were quite brave, to be honest. There was 2 mums with their joeys and then a dad, and it was really, really beautiful. Like the stars were out, like the entire sky was just lit up with stars. It was really something special, and then just to have this mob of kangaroos just walking around me, it was a very beautiful night. Oh, I am absolutely loving this trip. Alright, well I'm just going to let everything dry out for a bit and I'll start packing it down, and then we'll go for a walk. Yeah, so you've got all these horse tracks coming down from the hills. That's probably one of the biggest issue with wild horses or any introduced species in Australia, is that none of our native animals are hooved animals. All the hooved animals are introduced species, and our soil over the last million years or so has evolved with soft-footed animals and not hooved animals. So when they introduced sort of cattle and horses back in the day, it really damaged our soil. You sort of read the old accounts and they sort of explain how the landscape and just the soil was completely different. So that's probably one of the biggest issues, and as you can see it starts to cause some erosion, because as they carve out little tracks, it means that when it rains it can create little creeks, and it just erodes out the landscape. Whereas when kangaroos hop around here, they barely leave any trail at all. So yeah, as majestic as horses are, I love them, but you've got to find a balance out here. It's quite a contested issue. People love the wild horses, but at the same time they're doing some pretty major damage to our landscape. So I think we've got to find a balance between maybe keeping some around, but definitely not in the thousands that do occur out here. So, but then again, us humans aren't that much better. Yeah, so one of the really interesting things about this area is it's made out of limestone, and so underneath the ground there's all these limestone caverns, and so usually a place like this would be a stream running through the middle of it, but when the water comes out of the hills it drops down into the limestone and flows underneath the ground, and and pops back up where we were yesterday, which is pretty interesting. But I've only got about maybe 400 mils worth of water left, so I'm hoping I can find some water up on the hills up here somewhere. Well, I'm up on the plain now, and my goodness, it is gorgeous up here. Oh, it feels so nice just being big open country. This is honestly, I think, like my perfect landscape. Big open grassy plains. You got the tree line sort of meeting the grassy plains, so beautiful spots to camp up on the trees. Big rocky gorges, rivers. Man, this is one epic place. I think I'm in heaven. Well, here's a prime example of how these mountain streams reach these limestone caverns. They drop underneath the earth and then flow out and come back out a couple kilometers downstream. It's pretty crazy. Well, not a bad spot to stop for lunch. So I'm just gonna have a bit of bite to eat. I'll make my way back up onto the plain, and then I'll make my way over to this hut, which I'm pretty keen to check out. So we'll get some tucker in and then we'll go up there. Alright, so a little bit of bush history for you guys. So you can find these huts all throughout the high country, all through Kosciuszko and down into the alpine regions of Victoria. And they sort of built these huts back in the 1800s when the early settlers came into the area and found this perfect grazing country. But also they built them around the 1950s or so when they were doing sort of exploration works for the Snowy Hydro system. So you can honestly find them all throughout the park. They're just scattered all over the place, even up in the sort of the high mountain areas. So if you do a lot of cross-country skiing and stuff, you can quite often come and sort of stay around these. You're technically not allowed to camp inside them. They are for emergencies only. You are allowed to have a fire inside them and cook inside them, but technically you're sort of meant to camp out here in your tent. Unless there's an emergency or it's really bad weather, then you can camp inside of them. But yeah, they kind of don't want to sort of get overrun with too many visitors camping inside, because it could potentially get wrecked. So which is pretty understandable, because they are a very important part of this sort of high country history. So you kind of want to try and preserve these as much as possible. And unfortunately, they do get burnt down from time to time, whether it's people having too big of fires inside there and the whole place catches alight, or like last year or the start of this year, we had when the bushfires came through the park, that destroyed a couple of them. So it's sad to see, and the national parks and the Hut Association do a great job of trying to rebuild them. So that's really good. So if you can donate to the Hut Association, that's always a good thing to try and sort of preserve this kind of history. Well, they're just a really unique thing about hiking around this area. It's really cool that you can sort of come across these relics of history. I think it's pretty special. Alright, so for dinner tonight I'm going to make a noodle stir fry. So just got some noodles in there and just some veggies in here. I may have gone a little bit overboard with the veggies. So a fair bit there, but we'll see how we go. So it's just top and tail of these snow peas. Just got some capsicum. Some broccolini. Just in this bag, we've got some chopped up pak choy. Chuck that in. And just shallot. As for the sauce to go on the stir fry, just got a Kewpie roasted sesame dressing, so it's really tasty with that. So we'll just put some olive oil on this and we'll chuck it on the fire. And that is a mountain of veggies. And then just a Kewpie roasted sesame sauce. This guy's not looking too healthy. All his feathers are a bit messed up and he's sort of struggling to get out of this tree. And then yesterday I saw him sitting on the ground, he wasn't really moving too much. Poor little guy. Alright, so the verdict on the new tent, I like it. It's done me pretty well over the last few nights. There's a bit of condensation on the inside, but that's just what you get with synthetic fabric, especially in such a dewy environment like this. You're going to get condensation no matter what. But yeah, it's just enough space inside for one person. It's not too claustrophobic, but it's also not too big that you're carrying too much extra weight. So I think it's a perfect size. And the fact that it's fully freestanding, like it's even got this pole that comes out and keeps the vestibule open, means I can use this pretty much anywhere, even on really rocky terrain. It'll do me good. So yeah, I've had some pretty nice night's sleep in this the last 2 nights. Actually, except for last night though. I probably woke up about, 2 or 3 o'clock to the craziest sound. There was a brumby probably just off about 100 meters or so, and it was just making all these weird sounds like screeching and everything. It sounded like it was being chased by a dingo or something like that. It was just a very eerie sound, and it was like galloping back up and forth down the paddock, and yeah, I honestly felt like I was going to get run over any moment. Which is probably the one thing about camping out here. You feel a little bit vulnerable sleeping in the tent with all these brumbies running around, because constantly throughout the night you hear them going past the tent, and yeah, I just hope they have good night vision, because I would not want to get a mob of brumbies running over the top of me. But anyway, alright, well, I'm going to get this all packed down now, and then yeah, we'll get on out of here. Man, what a cracking day. It is such a beautiful day to be out in the high country. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the last few days. I've had such an awesome time. It's honestly some of the most gorgeous country I've been. I've really enjoyed it. So hopefully I've been able to do it some justice in the camera. I'm going to try and get back out to the high country maybe in about a month's time, sort of the early to mid-December, to do a trout fishing trip. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think I could spend a lot of time up in the high country. It's just a really beautiful place to explore. So this will be the first of many trips, I think. So until then, we'll wrap this video up now, and I just want to say a big thanks to all you guys for watching, and a big shout out to all my patrons, because it's with your support that helps me to get out here and make more of these kind of videos for you guys. So I really appreciate it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next walkabout. Hooroo.